Okay, good morning, students. In this session, we are going to start a new chapter, human reproduction. So here, in the last sessions, we discussed the sexual reproduction processes and events in the flowering plants. And here next when we come to this chapter, so it is a completely of the reproduction process in human beings. So in the human beings, these human beings are unisexual organisms. Unisexual organism. So unisexual organisms means an individual contains either male reproductive system or female reproductive system. That means in simple way we can say the male organisms and female organisms are different. So and also these are also known as, so male and female are different. And these are also known as dioecious. The human beings are dioecious. Dioecious means, so the same unisexual organisms is also known as the dioecious organism. So human beings are unisexual, dioecious and viviparous. Viviparous means these give birth to young ones directly. So give birth to young ones. That means the organisms, some organisms are there which lay eggs, and from that eggs the hatchlings or the young ones are produced. But here the human beings itself, they directly give birth to the young ones. The complete embryonic development takes place inside the female body. So that's why these animals are known as, or these human beings are viviparous animals. And one more important of this is mammary glands. The young ones are fed by this milk which are produced by the functional mammary glands in females. And this is a characteristic feature of all mammalian animals or organisms. So that means the milk is produced by the female functional mammary glands. So these are the basic things in the human reproduction. So one is the humans are unisexual or dioecious, or these are viviparous, and the mammary glands, due to the presence of these mammary glands, so the milk is produced and which is fed to the young ones. And the caring, so one more important thing is caring of young ones. Caring of young ones. So this is the one most important thing in the human beings. And here the structures which are associated with functional and structurally, the parts which are associated with the human reproduction. So as we are discussing, these things are the unisexual, that means the male organism and male individual and female individuals are different. Here the human beings show sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism. So what is the meaning of sexual dimorphism? Means the physical appearance of the male and female is completely different with each other. So the male ones, so we can easily identify the male and female. So such a property of these human beings is known as sexual dimorphism. So physical appearance is different of the male and female individuals. Now we will see that the what are the structures associated with the reproduction in human beings. So there are different sex organs are present in different male and females. So first thing, it is called primary sex organs. Primary sex organs. These are also known as gonads, which produces the gametes. These gonads actually produces the gametes. So here in males, what are the primary sex organs? There is a pair of testes. Testes are the primary sex organs in males. So this is the plural and singular it is testis. Testis is the singular form and testes, T-E-S-T-I-S. This is the only difference and this is the singular form. And in females, the primary sex organs or gonads are a pair of ovaries. A pair of ovaries. So these are the primary sex organs in females. So later we will discuss this detailed structure, that means male reproductive unit and female reproductive unit, that means systems. And in human beings, the reproductive system is associated with the urinary system. So that's why when we are discussing about the reproductive system, so this is a combination of urinogenital system. So urinogenital system, because the structures of the reproductive system and the structure of urinary system are associated with each other. Structurally they are associated with each other, and in males functionally also. So while the transformation of these sperms, the urinogenital system, so it is together, reproductive system as well as urinary system are associated with each other. So this system together we call it as urinogenital system. And before going to the deep discussions about male reproductive system and female reproductive system, some terminology. So the terms which are related to human reproduction. So here the first thing is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. So gametogenesis is, we know that the formation of the gametes. The formation of gametes. The process of formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis. So in human beings it is two types, because in males it is different and in females it is different. So in males it is known as spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. So male gametes are the sperms. In human beings the male gametes are sperms. The production of or the formation of sperms is known as spermatogenesis. It is the formation of sperms. And in females it is in males. And in females the gametogenesis is known as oogenesis. Oogenesis. So in females the female gamete is ovum or egg. So the process of formation of ovum is known as oogenesis. So it is ovum. Formation of or production of ovum is known as oogenesis. So gametogenesis is the formation of gametes. So here male gametes are formed. So that is sperms are formed. That process is known as spermatogenesis, and ovum is produced in females as the female gamete. That process is known as oogenesis. And this is the one important, the first event in human reproduction. And the next one is insemination. Insemination. So here the sperms are formed, are produced in male body, ovum are produced in female body. When we are talking about the sperms are motile ones. So these are the motile, and these are known as non-motile. Non-motile. Ovum is a non-motile gamete and sperm is a motile gamete. So what is the process of insemination? The transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. Female genital tract. So insemination is the process of transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. So here, as the sperms are motile, the motile sperms has to be transferred into the female genital tract where the ovum is produced. So there is a chance of the fertilization. So that's why that process, transfer of the sperms into the female genital tract, is known as insemination. And the third event is fertilization. Fertilization. So here in human beings the fertilization is internal fertilization. That means the fertilization takes place inside the female body. So that's why it is a type of internal fertilization. And the fertilization is the fusion of sperms and ovum to produce zygote. So fertilization is a process of fusion of, so simply you can say that fusion of gametes. So but when we are specifically talking about the human reproduction, so where the male gamete is sperm and female gamete is ovum, so the fusion of sperm and ovum to produce zygote. To produce zygote. That process is known as fertilization, and in human beings the internal fertilization takes place. That means the fertilization takes place inside the body of females. And the next aspect, so the fourth event is implantation. Implantation. Once the fertilization takes place, that means zygote is formed, the zygote is further divides and further development takes place. And in human beings, in the females, for that embryonic development, there is a specialized structure which is known as uterus. So in the uterus, the further development of embryo takes place till birth. So what is implantation? The developing embryo, the attachment of embryo to the uterine walls. Uterine walls. So here when we are this part is known as the uterus in the female genital tract. So in this the fertilization takes place in this area. From here the zygote is while developing, while cleavage is taking place in these areas itself, and this developing embryo comes into the uterus, and here the embryo is attached to the uterine walls. So these are the uterine walls, and here it is attached to the uterine walls. That process is known as implantation. The attachment of embryo to the uterine walls is known as implantation. So during this implantation, once the embryo is attached to the uterus, then the embryo is started to develop completely. So once the embryo is developed completely, then the next process is known as parturition. Parturition. So once the embryo is completely developed, so that period is known as gestation. So gestation means the period of the embryonic development in the uterus. So that period is known as gestation period. And in human beings the gestation period is about or approximately 9 months. So parturition means the delivery of the baby. So by completing the 9 months of the embryonic development, then the delivery of the baby. As the human beings are viviparous, that means they give birth to young ones. So the complete embryonic development takes place inside the uterus of the female. Then the delivery of the baby is known as, technically it is known as parturition. And the next event is lactation. As human beings are belongs to the mammals, then the young ones are fed by the milk which are secreted by mammary glands. So these are the events. The first one is the gametogenesis, that means the formation of gametes, and next insemination, transfer of sperms into the female genital tract, next fertilization, fusion of sperm and ovum, then implantation, the embryo is attached to the uterine walls, then parturition, delivery of the baby, so then lactation, the young ones are fed by milk which is secreted by the mammary glands. So these are the events in human reproduction. Then puberty. So puberty is the stage at which the reproductive systems become functional. So actually by birth itself the reproductive system is present, but it is becomes functional at the particular age. So that age and that stage is called puberty. So the reproductive systems both in males and females at particular stage they become functional. That means they started to produce gametes, and in females the uterus are suitable. So after such a period of time only the female reproductive system is become functional, as well as in the males the male reproductive system becomes functional, and the stage is called puberty. And this puberty stage starts the early in girls. So that means 11 to 12 years of age approximately, or sometimes it is about 14 years. 14 years of age in girls. The reproductive system becomes functional. That means the reproductive system starts to produce the gametes. So that is, in girls it is ovum. And this stage at which the ovum production, the ovulation takes place. So that stage in girls, the starting of the gametogenesis in females is known as menarche. Menarche. So menarche means the starting of menstrual cycle in girls. So in simple words we can say that the starting of menstrual cycles in girls. So it starts about at the age of 11 to 12 or 14 years of age. And in boys, so it is about 13 to 15 years of age in boys. The reproductive system becomes functional. That means the spermatogenesis starts at the age of 13 to 15 years of age. And here once it starts in males, it continues till birth. The spermatogenesis process continues till death. And in girls or in females, the menstrual cycle stops at the particular age. So it is about 45 to 50 years of age. The menstrual cycle starts. That means the oogenesis process or ovulation process permanently stops. And that stage is known as menopause. Menopause. So after menopause in females, there is no ovulation, no production of ovum takes place. But in males, the spermatogenesis continues till death. So the next one is secondary sexual characters. Secondary sexual characters. Where the reproductive systems become functional, and here the hormonal action in the individuals is also becomes more rapidly. The hormone secretions is increasing. Due to that, in the physical appearance or inside the body also there are rapid changes. The random changes occurs in the both males and females, and those characters. So these sexual characters only starts after at the stage of puberty. It is indicating that the starting of the reproductive system becoming functional. So that is the one indication when the individuals shows the secondary sexual characters, and these secondary sexual characters are different in both males and females. So in males, when we are talking about the physical appearance, so in the males at the puberty stage especially, the starting of beard and the shoulders, broad shoulders, and low pitch voice, and the body become more musculature and more height when compared to the females. So these are some of the secondary sexual characters in males. So and also narrow hips. So these are some secondary sexual characters in males. And in females, high pitch voice and narrow shoulders. So then non-musculature body, and broad hips, so these are the some secondary sexual characters in females. So by the appearance of these secondary sexual characters, it indicates that the reproductive system becoming functional. So now we will discuss with the reproductive systems of both male and female. So first we will see the male reproductive system. So male reproductive system. So in the male reproductive system, as we discussed already, that primary sex organs or gonads are testes, a pair of testes. So it is a paired structures. And along with that, the associated ducts or accessory ducts and accessory glands are also present. So these are the main sex organs or primary sex organs from which the male gametes are produced. Then accessory ducts. These accessory ducts are required for the transformation and developing of the sperms. So the accessory ducts includes in the primary sex organs is in the male is epididymis, vas efferentia or vasa efferentia. So these are the again paired ducts. So a pair of epididymis and a pair of vasa efferentia. And here, if it is a singular, we have to pronounce it as vas efferens. So it is vas efferens. As it is a paired one, so I wrote as vasa efferentia. And vasa differentia, and ejaculatory duct, and urethra. So these are the accessory ducts of male reproductive system. So epididymis, a pair of epididymis, a pair of vasa efferentia, a pair of vasa differentia, ejaculatory duct, then urethra, and external genitalia. That means the reproductive structure which is outside the body. So outside the abdominal cavity. So that is external genitalia. So in males, the external genitalia includes penis. Penis is the structure that is outside the abdominal cavity. So that is known as the penis, external genitalia. And accessory glands. So it includes accessory glands. There are three types of accessory glands are present in male reproductive system. So one is a pair of seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles and a single prostate gland. Single prostate gland. And the third one is bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland. So here the three types of glands or accessory glands of male reproductive system are a pair of seminal vesicles, a single prostate gland, and again a pair of bulbourethral glands. And these all structures are functionally they are associated with the male reproductive system and they are helps in the production and as well as the developing and transferring of the sperms or male gametes. So one by one we are discussing this male reproductive system parts. So the first one, primary sex organs. There is a pair of testes and these are ex-abdominal structures. That means the structures which are outside the body, those are called ex-abdominal structures. And accessory ducts includes epididymis, vasa efferentia and vasa differentia, ejaculatory duct and urethra. And external genitalia is penis. And accessory glands are seminal vesicles, prostate glands and bulbourethral gland. And this bulbourethral gland is also known as Cowper's gland. So the secretions or productions of all these structures together is called semen. So that means these glands also secrete some substances, some different types of substances, and these glands, these gonads testes also produces sperms, and these all productions together is known as semen. That means the semen contains the sperms and also the substances which are produced by these glands also. These substances, this semen contains calcium and fructose. So even some another enzymes which are helps in the developing of the sperms. So first structure of male reproductive system is testis. So testis is a paired structure and which are present in the outside the abdominal cavity. So there is a sac-like structure. So there is a sac-like structure which is known as scrotum. Scrotum. So inside the scrotum, a pair of testes are located. The location of the testes is, the testes are located outside the abdominal cavity. That there is a sac-like structure, a pouch-like structure is present which is known as scrotum. So in that scrotum, the two testes are located. So the reason why these testes are located outside the abdominal cavity means the internal body temperature of the human beings is not favorable for the spermatogenesis. To produce the sperms inside the male body, then the temperature is not favorable. So approximately our average body temperature is 98.4 Fahrenheit. But this temperature, at this temperature, the spermatogenesis does not take place. Spermatogenesis does not take place. So that's why the scrotum provides the favorable temperature, the required temperature for the spermatogenesis. That means the spermatogenesis required the temperature less than 98.4 Fahrenheit. That means 2 to 2.5 degrees less than the normal body temperature. So it is about 2 to 2.5 degrees less than the 98.4 Fahrenheit. So that means it is about 95.5 or 96. This is the temperature which is required for the spermatogenesis. But this temperature is not present inside the body. So internal body temperature is above this temperature. At this temperature the spermatogenesis does not take place. So the testes are located outside the abdominal cavity where the exact temperature is provided inside the scrotum that is required for the spermatogenesis. That is the reason why the testes are located outside the abdominal cavity. And these testes are pinkish brown colored structures, and length of each testis is about 4 to 5 centimeters. 4 to 5 centimeters. And width is 2 to 3 centimeters width. So the length of each testis is 4 to 5 centimeters and width is 2 to 3 centimeters of width. And these testes are located in the scrotum and which are divided by which are separated by the connective tissue. So if it is the scrotum, so in the scrotum each testis are located so it is the just rough diagram as I am saying there. So here each testis are separated by a connective tissue. So then internal structure of testis we will discuss in the next session. So this is the just physical appearance of the testis. So that is, these are the paired structures and the pinkish brown color, and length is about 4 to 5 centimeters, then width is about 2 to 3 centimeters.